1184 was the first album that we created together as Windir, as a full band. It had been Terje's project so far. And then we decided that we joined forces. So we took the whole Ulkus band, incorporated that with Windir, and me and Terje started writing the album 1184 back in 2000. The opening track is Todesvalser, was written by Terje. That was one of the last songs that was written in the whole project. Also the album, we were supposed to have some clean vocal themes, and we didn't get the vocalist that was planned. So Aker Haugen helped us out, calling up a friend called Kosmokrator, or André, which was the name. He came into the studio, had never met us before. We gave him some lyrics in English, in German, and in Sognametal, and he did a tremendous job, but that was a really, really spontaneous thing. "1184 is, of course, a continuance in the concept of Arntur, and became the title track. But the funny thing, when we started this project, me and Terje decided to start a new band. We hadn't. I kind of felt stagnated with Ulkus. He felt alone, and he lacked inspiration for making a new album for Windir. So the main idea was to create a new band. So let's start a new project. I remember we're looking into names, god-awful names, and I remember one of them, Amalgamation. That's like one of the worst, most horrible band names ever, so I'm really glad we didn't go in that direction. When we started just working with some ideas, we decided, Windir has got something. It's got its own identity, it's something special. Terje didn't really want to let it go, and I would love to kind of contribute more to that band. So we decided to make that, and then the title track we came up with, let's just call it 1184. That's kind of the whole concept from where Arntur came as well, and so it was a natural continuance. And that song was written by Terje. Dance of Mortal Lust was a song that I wrote when we have pretty also quite late in the phase of making the album. So I've kind of had started I'm now writing Windir music. So that pretty much colored that song. I took inspiration from the first Windir albums, so that kind of direction led to that song in many ways. So Terje really liked the whole process. That kind of felt maybe as the song that we worked most together on, even though I wrote that song. So it felt maybe the song that had the strongest collaboration on that. The Spirit Lord is my favorite. It's one of the favorite songs that I've ever written, I think. I've always enjoyed that song. I love to play it live and go back to that song. The song was written before we decided to do a band together. So if we had continued Ulkus, that would have been a song for Ulkus. We even did a demo of it, I think, and some parts changed a bit when we started making the album, but that kind of was a song that was made quite a few years. The main ideas for it before we started Windir as a band together. Hydra is a song that Terje had ready before we kind of started to collaborate. That was a song that kind of would have fitted perfectly on the Arntur album, I think. It was material from the same period, at least the start and how the song developed after a while, and I think it's a very, very classic sounding Windir song. It's a kind of a very typical Sognametal song, or what we should call it, but I think it was a fun song to play, and it's interesting in every aspect, and I think it's kind of it's within the frame of what a classic Windir song is. Destroy, another track that I also brought in from my years in Ulkus. I started to make some demos out of it, but it changed a bit during the process. Terje got involved for the mid-theme of the song and wanted to do something differently with that, so kind of rearranged it, and the ideas he came up with we ended up not using anyway. I didn't like it. So we had a lot of, when we worked together, he tossed out ideas, and I tossed out the idea, and we always started to be negative to each other. You know, it was not like, oh, that's a really cool riff. It's like, this song is boring, this is shitty. So it very often started there in that aspect, in a friendly tone. We were childhood friends. That was kind of the dialogue we had always had. So it was not like, oh, this is amazing. It's like, nah, I'm not sure. And then it kind of just, oh, I really like this. So that was kind of the natural process of working together. Black New Age, another song that I wrote. That song were written when we were, started as a band, and I wanted to make a quite intense, fast black metal song, and but the end theme was something that Terje really liked a lot. He worked a lot with the keyboards and some extra details for that part, and we loved to play it live and stuff like that. So we kind of, for some of the shows, we had that as the ending song of the set. So it was a song that, when I wrote it, I thought, maybe this is kind of not like it's not going to be the best song on the album, I thought, but it worked out like a really, really great song, I think, and it also kind of ended up the way it did because we worked together. Journey to the End. What to say? It's a classic. It's, I think it's maybe the best song Terje ever have written. It is sums up in there so good, it's so to the point, and the electronical part, the ending of it, really reflected him at the time, because Terje was really tired and bored of metal at that period before we started writing this album, and he mostly did electronica music, pop music, he did other kind of stuff, and the way he kind of incorporated that into a metal song and made it something so unique, I think that song will be, or is, the kind of the strongest legacy for his musical career. Going in the studio to record the album was interesting. We'd never done an album together like that, but even from the first demos, Terje made his demos together with us in the same Fjøsen rehearsal place, and so we worked closely together, and Jørn played drums on all the albums of Winder, so we were kind of always sitting together in a process, but that was something different from now we're actually a band. And we were a band of 5 other members, and then there was Terje. So the process for going to studio was filled with inspiration and joy, but also a bit of tension, trying to find your role, your position and stuff like that. So it was a really intense period, and it also was really, I have to say, it was a lot of rock and roll partying life going on at that time. It was, we celebrated each good thing that can happen. It was like we had won the World Cup in soccer or something. Yes, no, this sounds so fantastic, and we really loved it. And then let's party. And as I said, the next day, maybe it wasn't that cool. We felt, and you started the doubting, and then had to rebuild it. But we had a good setup. We lived just right outside the studio in a caravan and an extra tent. We were like 5 or 6 people sitting there at most of the time, and it was a lot of partying. I remember there was a drum theme on one of the songs. I don't remember which song it was. We were sitting with Jørn, and we thought, we have to try this and that. And we said, okay, we will just go to the tent, and we'll come back in and see how it's going. And he had been sitting there for like 3 or 4 hours, and me and Terje just forgot all about it. We started listening to music and drinking beer, so yeah, we forgot we were in the studio at that time. So yeah, poor Jørn, he was left. 1184, we had it's not a concept album, but it was kind of like a conceptual thought about it. We decided to develop what Terje had started with on the Arthur album. Arthur is this historical character who lived in Sogndal, and his actions ignited the Great Sea Battle in Sogndal in 1184. It's kind of one of the most known things in our local history, this battle. So we decided to make an album inspired by that. But we also some of the songs, like 1184, the title track, that's kind of like a historical song about what happened. But the other lyrics are also kind of set or inspired by the events, but they are not historical at all. So it's kind of, it's a mix of historical thing, but also kind of a mood or a sense that were created to develop around what was 1184. So kind of we had a thought around it, but it's not like a concept album, which we did later with Milorg or something like the Vreid, which are concept albums, but here we're more like, this is the focus.